All right. I'm ready. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our work session. I am calling this meeting to order at, let's see. Oh, I don't have the right time on my clock. 6:38 p.m. Thank you, David. Our opening items. Let's see. Do we have any? Well, we didn't have any statements from the public as far as like any questions. We did put that out there for questions, and we haven't received any. Well, let me take it back. We did receive one in regards to wanting to ensure that there was some sort of messaging to our students, families in regards to what's been going on currently. And I did get a chance to speak with Dr. Chase this afternoon very briefly in regards to that. She did draft a letter, and so it was sent out to students. I know we usually, as a board, we usually see that, and so she's gonna make sure that she resends it. So something did go out to students. I just will say, overall, we are looking for and the administration to provide, additional resources for families to have the conversations that they need to have during this time. There is obviously a lot on television and the news and everywhere else, and so we just want to be able to, make sure that our families are, supported during this time. Um, so that was the only sort of question that I received. I also wanted Ivy to share some information about our ballots and budget process. So Ivy's gonna step in and share some information for our community.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a quick overview. The evening of May 1st, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202.26, which established voting by absentee ballot for June 9th, 2020. He established, he modified some of the laws, didn't change others. So we had a quick turnaround time in getting this done. We've never done a full absentee ballot. All districts in the state really haven't done absentee ballot this way. So May 21st was the last possible day that the Board of Education could adopt a budget. Greenberg Board of Ed adopted the budget on May 19th. Last possible day to hold a public hearing on the budget was June 2nd. The Board of Education held a public hearing on May 26th. June 3rd is the last day to mail a budget notice. And the budget notice will be at the post office tomorrow to mail out to the residents, to the households. Everyone should have or will hopefully by tomorrow receive the ballots. They were sent to the post office last Friday, May 29th, and yesterday morning, June 1st, the remainder went. Also for newly registered voters that had voted since I received the list from the county, those were mailed out today, which was the last possible day that I'm allowed to mail ballots to voters. And that was an additional 43. So in total, we have mailed out 16,480 were the original, and an additional 43 went out today. So hopefully I'll start getting them back. And I'll just quickly, I have show and tell very quickly in what you received. So Jane Doe would have received this packet, an envelope like this. And inside this envelope, it would contain an oath envelope that's written in English and Spanish. The oath should be signed in the back. If you don't sign it, it cannot be counted. So please make sure that when you fill out and complete your ballot, you put it in this envelope and seal it. Make sure you sign it, otherwise it cannot be counted. Also in the mailer, you're going to receive a business reply. One of the orders from the executive, one of the orders one of the requirements in the executive order was that we provide a postage paid return envelope. And so that's what this is. So we're also, to comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act, we have to provide a ballot in English and in Spanish. So every voter is getting 2 ballots. And very quickly, it has lengthy instructions on how to complete it. And then there are 3 items on the ballot: the budget proposition, Proposition 1, and voting for the candidates, which there are two vacancies coming up. So once you complete the ballot in the language of your choice, insert it into the oath envelope, seal it, sign the back, and then put this envelope in this return, and you can return it to the post office or have it hand delivered. There is a black lock box up at the front entrance of the Early Childhood Program at 475 West Hartsdale Avenue. And you can put it inside the black lock box, and that's going to be checked daily.
Ivy, I just would add to that too. I spoke to Dr. Chase. Someone did alert her that in some of the buildings in the Fairview area, you know, the post office, I call them bins, but those post office bins that are white that they usually carry mail,
Mhm.
that someone reported that there were like that box was left in the lobby. So not placed in individual mailboxes. So Dr. Chase reached out to or whoever had reached out to her, they said that they would ensure that they put those items gave them to each person, you know, in the building that were supposed to receive them. I'm not sure what we can do. Maybe, you know, reach out to the post office, but that's pretty much what Dr. Chase found out. I don't know if she found out today, but I know I spoke to her today and she did share that information.
I was not aware of that. I do know that the election material has every registered voter's name and address on it, and it should be put in their mailbox. It shouldn't be left out. Perhaps it was the vote information postcard that the governor required that we send out. That was sent, although that was sent to every household via first class mail. So when you send something via first class mail, they are supposed to put it in every single mailbox. They're not supposed to leave it out like bulk mail. I know usually they leave out. I've heard of that. So that's why we sent it first class mail, to make sure that it would get into everyone's mailboxes.
Well, like I said, I don't know when Dr. Chase heard it. It sounded like she might have gotten that information today. I just spoke to her probably within the last half an hour, so she did share that. So someone said that they would help make sure that they get to the residents in the buildings.
Okay. And one last item I'd like to point out with respect to voter registration. So only registered voters are allowed to vote. And the last day by law that I can mail ballots is today. However, the last day to register and in-person registration with me was suspended per the executive order. So the only way to register is with Westchester County Board of Elections through the mail or through the DMV online website. And then that information gets forwarded to the Westchester County Board of Elections. So that's how I get it from them. So if anyone has not registered since yesterday, because I'm no longer allowed to mail ballots, they should contact me if they've registered with the county between now and the 4th. June 4th is the last day to allow registration, but I can't mail out on June 4th. So if anyone is in that predicament, please call me and we'll see what we can do to make sure that everyone, who wants to vote is able to cast a ballot within the confines of the law. So they can call me at 914-761-6000, extension 3114, or send me an email at ikraus as in Sam at greenbergcsd.org.
Ivy, I just wanted some clarification. Do you have to receive all the ballots by the 9th in order for them to be counted, or do they have to be posted by the 9th?
No, the law requires that I have it in my possession at 5 p.m.
By the,
So
by,
what I've requested for the lockbox is that someone, because I will be, with the election inspectors at that point. So someone will be at the lockbox a couple of minutes before 5 p.m. So that way they know right at 5, they've taken everything out and they turn it over to me. So we know that it came in by 5 p.m. as we requested in the lockbox. So anything that comes in after that, the next day, what have you, cannot be counted by law.
so effectively, if people are going to mail them back to you, they really have to mail it no later than the 6th or the 7th, if they want to make sure that it's going to get to you.
I would think so. The post office has told us that their standard mailing process takes anywhere from 3 to 5 days.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a lot.
But the
Wow.
ballots, we did flag this mail. So that's why when it was delivered late Friday afternoon, people were already getting it on Saturday because it was flagged election material. So the post office would act on it a lot quicker.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Carey?
2 things. Maybe Ivy could please explain the 2 mail-in lines on the ballot for those who may not understand what they're there for.
Right.
Oh, certainly. So as I said, this is the ballot, and there are 2 vacancies. And you have 2 incumbents that are running for school board, but residents also have the option of casting a vote for someone that is not listed. So it will be a write-in. So that's why the 2 lines are there. So you have the option of voting. You can only vote for 2. If you only vote for 1, that would be counted. If you put 3 names down, none of it will be counted because we cannot decipher, which one should be counted. So nothing will be counted. Similarly to budget proposition, you have the lines yes and no. You have to put either an X or a check mark on whichever one you want to vote for. If you put it in the middle, it cannot be counted because we will not be able to determine what your intent was.
Okay, thank you, Ivy. I also received some questions, I guess, about the proposition on the for up for vote so this year. So as far as that, right now what will happen is, so each year there will be a proposition on the ballot for voters to approve moving any savings to the repair reserve fund. So each year we want to pretty much make that process pretty much like on a cycle, systematic. So the school year gets to end. The business office will get to see what savings, if any at all, were what created. And then in either August or September, we will do what we are required to do, which is have a hearing with the community so we can discuss the savings and how we would like to use it within the reserve funds. So pretty much what you see for this current year, it is what this coming year you may see something that speaks about any savings. So if I think about savings that could possibly happen, so we've been in COVID for the last few months. So that means, of course, we haven't had teachers and students and staff in the building. We are using less services. So there may, and I said there may be some savings because of that. And I say may because we also still have to take in account too that there are some pending state budget cuts that may come that will have an impact on our school district. Um, and so that may shift things. We may also, we hear that we'll probably get less revenue as well. So depending on what that looks like, what we're asking, because not only as a board and as a school district, we know where the status of our buildings are, and we want to be able to address those issues. We've heard, our community very loud and clear over the last few years that we need to, and they want us to focus on taking care of our buildings and making some repairs. So this is a way to address that. So, and savings could be in any way. It could be, school principals, not using as much of their supplies as they would have. It could be a student who might have had like a nurse along with them, and maybe that student might have left in the middle of the school year. So now they no longer need a nurse. And so that could be additional savings. Or if you really want to think about it to simplify it, even like currently now, like the last time I've put gas in my tank was in March. I've saved a couple of $100. So I may choose to, hey, give additional funds to any charitable organizations I do, or I can choose to, buy a new purse. The whole point is it's something that will allow us as a school district to take care of our aging buildings and address anything like that. But again, this is based off of any possible savings that we might generate. And we are asking the voters to consider that proposition to move any savings that we may find into the reserve fund to address specifically our facilities. So I just wanted to sort of clear that up. David, I see your volume is off. Did you want to share anything?
No, I wanted Ashley Pineda to say a few words about the Nettie Jackson Extra Mile Award.
Okay, thank you. So Ashley, you're up about the award.
Thank you. So the Nettie Jackson Extra Mile Award, we are beginning to collect nominations for that. They are due in by June 8th. Let's start with, I think everybody here has pretty much heard who Nettie Lee Jackson is, but I will, reiterate that. Nettie Lee Jackson was a compassionate and tireless lifelong advocate of quality education for all children. She was a concerned and activist parent, a community leader, a public school secretary, a union president, and a personal mentor to scores of students in the Greenbrook Central School District. In her honor, the Nettie Jackson Extra Mile Award recognizes members of the Greenberg CSD community who consistently perform outstanding service beyond their regular responsibilities and position for the benefit of the students and to the goal of excellence in education in the district. This award is presented annually by the Superintendent of Schools and the Board of Education at our June Board of Education meeting. If you know someone who has gone above and beyond the call of duty for our students, whether he or she is a staff or a community member, please complete a nominating form and send it to District Clerk Ivy Kraus. You can get the form from our greenbergcsd.org website. On the board, there is a Nettie Jackson Extra Mile page. On that page, there on the left-hand side, there's an award nomination form, which is the second button down from the top. And in Spanish, there is a translation of both the page and formulation and nomination form, which are the third and fourth links on that page. We are, like I said, we are collecting nominations now through June 8th. You can send the completed nomination forms to District Clerk Ivy Kraus. That's IKRAUS at greenbergcsd.org. And then once you do that, we have formed our Nettie Jackson committee. We will review those nominations, and we plan to present the award virtually at the June Board of Education meeting via Zoom, and that'll be broadcast on our Greenberg CSD YouTube channel on June 16th at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Ivy appears to have her hand up.
Ivy, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that an inquiry did come with respect to whether the Board of Education could change the date of the vote. That question did come up from a community member, and the answer is no. That date was set by Governor Cuomo, and that's the date that all school districts have to follow in New York State.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ivy.
Yes, thank you, Ivy. Okay, let's see. So we do have policy review on here, and we do have, I believe, 2 policies. I know I needed more time for one of them. I'm wondering, does anyone else need more time? Can we move this to the next work session that we have?
I would appreciate it because there's so many other things that we have to deal with. I think we can hold that off for another month. I'm in favor of that.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have any objections to moving it to a different time?
I just like to make sure that we make sure that the hotline number is posted. That's required in that first policy. Other than that, everything else is not so time urgent.
The hotline number.
Right. So the first policy on the list, the child abuse and maltreatment policy. It states even in the version that's already online
Yeah.
that there should be a web link and a hotline posted on the district website. I want to make sure it's actually there.
Okay.
We can handle that offline. It doesn't affect the content of the policy.
All right. Okay.
Can I ask a question,
Yes, go
Madam
ahead.
Chair?
Go ahead, Ms.
I've gotten a couple of phone calls wondering why there was no information about the budget on the district channel. I was wondering that myself. Usually we have a lot of chatter about the budget, but there was hardly any of it on. So I understand from those who inquired about the budget, and they were wondering, what the reason was that there was, not much information broadcast did.
I would think, and Ivy or Steve can correct me, I would believe what they should be able to find on there is probably the conversation from back in, I believe, February, or maybe like that first week of March. There should be the conversation that we had on May 11th, if I'm correct. That was a special meeting. We did have some conversation about the budget there. Then there's the facilities meeting.
Fiscal planning committee meeting.
I'm sorry, fiscal planning committee meeting. That should be on there as well. And then on the 19th, that's when the school board voted on the budget. So we did discuss that there, and that should be on there. And then following after that, we had the budget hearing on the 26th. So there should be about 4 or 5 things to my memory that should be on there. Steve, do you think, are all of those things up?
Yes,
Because
I've seen some of them.
I've been told that our channel has been blank for several days.
No.
Steve?
Okay. Okay, but most
When
people
was
are
the
saying,
power outage?
I beg your pardon?
I was just trying to understand, when was the power outage? Steve, that's for you, that question.
Oh, the power outage, I don't know. They're telling me. The community is telling me that there was no okay, but their concern was that they didn't see much of the budget, and I agree with them because I watch our channel a lot, but it hasn't been anything on there, so I have not been tuning to it. But there were times when, you know, the budget was on just about every other day, if not every day, and there was very little action about the budget. Even the meetings that we've had lately about the budget were not on TV. So, you know, I remember seeing one time there was a meeting, that was some weeks ago. But lately I haven't seen anything. And when I got the telephone calls asking me, that's when I started looking to see myself. And I did see there was nothing on there. So I'm just asking why they were.
Can we put, Antoinette, can we put, or Steve, whoever can answer, can we put YouTube videos onto the television so that it can broadcast like the budget hearing that we had the other day?
That's yeah.
Mhm.
All right, that'll be good. Like I said, I know there was a conversation either the very last week or the first week of March. We spoke again about it. On the 11th, we spoke about it at the fiscal planning committee. We had our budget, the budget hearing. The school board, we voted on it as well. So if we could, I think that's a good idea. If we can loop them all together and then share that, that will be helpful. If you could just let us know when that looping of it is a bit up and running. All right, thank you.
Antoinette?
Ashley?
Yes, Ashley.
Steve, is it possible you could also do that on the YouTube channel instead of just having all the disparate videos in different places? Can you like organize them in a folder or something so that someone looking for it can just find all those videos combined in that one folder?
I mean, would
Yeah, that'd be
Would it-
great. Thank you.
it be helpful too, if the fiscal planning committee or the chair of the fiscal planning committee wanted to pick the actual videos? Because if we're specifically trying to focus on budget videos, we would want the budget hearing, that fiscal planning meeting Antoinette just talked about. We would want this meeting. Do we want to kind of specifically focus on budget and just have those meetings play, and if the fiscal committee could decide the dates and then give them to Steve so he could know which ones to put together? Or do we want all of them put together?
If I were to the king of the world, I would have Mary give us an updated version of the budget presentation that is updated for the budget that we actually passed. That's what needs to happen.
I agree.
Okay, so I'm agreeing with David, but I also think that, like I said earlier, the looping of the videos,
both.
if it could be those specific dates. So I guess, we'll send it to you, Steve, also, so you can see the dates that we're talking about. Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, I just have a question. David, what exactly were you saying? Because I just actually went on our website and there is what looks like an updated presentation
Usually what happens is Mary and Dr. Chase, or it could be Dr. V, they'll come and they'll give you a live presentation in which they talk about it. They have a set of slides and they tell you what they have seen, what changes we've made for this year, and maybe answer a few frequently asked questions, and then that's the presentation, and it runs, you know, a little less than half an hour, and they've laid out what's in the actual latest draft of the budget verbally. So if you're the sort of person who's better at listening to it or watching somebody talk than you are reading the slides, you've got that. So you can look at the
So
slides.
you're saying that you would actually like them to do like a little webinar or something on this,
Yep.
rather than just
Exactly.
posting
That's the
because
tradition.
there is a slideshow of sorts on our website. Actually, I really like it. That kind of explains the budget that we passed.
Right.
And you would
So
like
Mary
a
would just
narrative
talk
to go with it. Okay.
Let me tell you guys, everybody doesn't have a computer, and everyone isn't tech savvy. So a lot of the seniors especially watch TV, and they would like to see those kind of things on TV because they don't have computers that they can go to. And everybody seems to think everybody is technologically savvy. I mean, you got some of us old folks that can barely turn on the doggone thing. So I mean, why is it that it's always got to be on a computer? It should be on TV. That's why we have our own private TV channel. So things like that can be put on it, and people who don't go to the computer can see it.
Yes. Another advantage to talking it as opposed to just having a set of slides. But it's good to cover all different venues.
Yes, that is agreed. All right, so Steve, we'll get David, if you can just help too. We'll email Steve the dates that should be included. All right. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so that is it. We're going to go into executive session. Is there need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the employment history of particular persons being considered for board action this evening, and to meet with the school attorney under attorney-client privilege?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Hearing none, we are adjourned to executive session. All right, Steve and Laser and Ivy, I'm putting you guys in we are at E, board action. So the first one is an amendment to the calendar. If you pay attention in regards to the executive orders, pretty much we're talking about ending the school year on June 18th, 2020. We did receive this information in the packet. So that's what that is. David.
My copy, and I know it's a hard copy, the first whereas clause in the thing.
I updated it. It's March 13th.
Okay, it's March 13th, and is it Westchester instead of Nassau County? First line?
I didn't catch that typo. Hold on. I will correct it now.
Okay, that's good. So as amended, sure.
How many years have you been here, Ivy?
I didn't draft this resolution.
No, I just how many years? Just how many years?
Quite a while.
Okay, so that's what, the third mistake in 17, 18 years?
Yeah, I've been here 15 years.
Okay. Oh, that rate, I don't know.
Oh my God, I'm about to say we moved from Westchester to Nassau. All right, so we are fixing that.
Okay, it's
And-
been corrected on the agenda.
Good. Then number 3, we wanted to fill in all the blanks with Dr. Valenti, right?
Yes, that's been done.
Okay.
All right. What's happening? Where are we at now? Because we were just on the first one. So that's been corrected. I know we're moving on. As far as May 26th board meeting, okay, that's with the administration building roof reconstruction. I feel like I had something about that. Nope, we are good on that. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about number 2, number 3 under board action? Okay. As far as now we're at budget code transfers.
Wait. Now, don't forget what I told you in closed session about the need to put that note about special ed for one of our people on that's getting.
That's for instructional staff.
Yeah, so
Remember, I said there needs a note.
All right, so that's Miss Carey. So we're beyond that section, but I'll go back to it. So, Ivy.
Item 4, C4.
I'm scrolling back up. Yes, Ivy, for item 4, we just need to include that this person does have tenure in the area of elementary.
No, special ed.
Oh, special education.
Antoinette, I have a question.
Yes.
Our agendas, I don't know if that's a good idea to be adding stuff like that.
Oh,
That is a administrative function, and as Ms. Carey said.
So this could be addressed in time for the 16th.
Right. Okay. Let's do it then. But I'd rather take advice on this from Dr. Valenti than a colleague.
Oh, did you let Dr. Valenti know we were back out?
I don't
don't
have.
answer because it's unnecessary, please.
I don't have Dr. Valenti's number 2. Let him know of that.
Ivy should know what to do. It's been done before, so I'm hoping that you will, Madam President, will see to it that it's done, please. Thank you.
I agree that you should ask Dr. Valenti about that.
Ivy?
I was going to say that the instructional and non-instructional personnel items are scheduled to be approved this evening. If there's any amendments that you'd like made to the resolution, that can be done on the 16th.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so the 16th. All right. Thank you, Ivy. Okay. Riley, add bed tenure. Okay. All right, so now we are at back to 4 budget code transfers. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Sure, this is a question. It's not going to affect whether I vote on it or not, but the PA system at RJ Bailey, it appears to be from the attachment that it's a pre-recorded message system. So instead of making live announcements on the PA system, you record WAV files and then play them back. And I'm wondering what the use for that is. Maybe you already know. Ashley, do you know?
No, I don't have any. I don't know.
I know we talked about it during the technology committee meeting that happened months ago. We also talked about it in the safety and security committee meeting. Essentially, that PA system was due for an upgrade anyways.
Yeah.
So we took it upon ourselves. We had the funding at the time to go ahead and do that system. I think it happens to have that feature. How that feature is used, to your question, David, I'm not sure, but I know that that system was up for upgrades anyways.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because I would say I know we talked about needing an upgrade. I don't remember it saying it was only pre-recorded. But go ahead, Ashley.
Separate from that, I would like to have a little more detail on the asbestos abatements that are being identified. I know they say, floor and classroom, but there's a discrepancy between two of them. I'm presuming, but I don't like to make assumptions that the larger figure is maybe multiple classrooms, because it's significantly larger than the other figure. So I'd like a little more clarity on that, I think.
As far as I don't have other additional information other than as far as let me see what my notes are. As far as the larger one, let's see,
It's
there's
square footage.
Woodlands Middle High School. Of course, that's those areas that we talked about, the tiles near the door, the auditorium door. So we spoke about that. That has to do with that. I know that for sure. As far as RJ Bailey, again, just the same information that's already on there. I knew that there was, I don't know which classroom in particular. There's a classroom that classrooms that do also need abatement in RJ Bailey, and I know it was also the kitchen as well. I think with the classroom, I feel like my note says it looks like it's like 4 or 5 classrooms.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, never mind. I was just looking through the notes again, and I missed this one detail. I think when I got confused when I read the packet is I didn't realize that they lumped some of these together into some of those budget codes. So that's what it is. That's where the confusion is on my part. I get it now. I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions there?
Are we still on business?
We're moving into PPS committee recommendations. Now we're going.
Well, I want to ask a question, if you don't mind, Madam President. I know you want to go, and so do I. But this business contract with Alicia Madeira, wasn't that canceled? Didn't Dr. Valente say something about that, or somebody said something about that being canceled? That we weren't going to she wasn't going to be able to make it. I think that was in the business manager's report, or some report.
Yeah. That was removed from the agenda.
Yeah.
So that was that. Oh, see, I still have it. Okay.
You still have the old one, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So any questions on? Okay, we're at F, review agenda items for the next meeting. As you can see, the minutes that are there. You have the finance treasurer's report, the finance warrant report. Okay, going the contract with capital markets advisors, contract for the Omni Group, renewal for core sports physical therapy, renewal for Perf Jones, that's probably the yearbook or rings, Devereaux contract, and now we're into work session approvals. Okay. This is for open, and I think that's it. Okay, so, all right, so a motion to approve the, Ivy, where's that other piece? Remember, is it in this section here about last time they were labeled differently?
That you already covered that. That's under Board of Action, Section E, number 2.
Okay.
To correct the May 26th board meeting motions.
Okay. All right, great. Just want to make sure. Okay, so work session approval. So I am at motion to approve the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, that motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the non-instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. All right, so now we are moving into, did I do both? Or am I going too fast?
Antoinette,
I did instructional.
Antoinette, where are we discussing items under E? But I realize we're in a different part of the agenda. It's just very late and I'm tired. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing, and I'm trying to toggle back and forth between screens here. So
Items under E, we did,
Ivy sent us
After that.
the
I'm sorry, two people said something at the same time.
No, we just all we approved right now with the instructional items and non-instructional, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now we're
Board action items.
right, now we're on the board action items. So now that, hold on, I got to get back to the screen. So now that is where we're talking about our calendar, right? And ending the school year.
No, I think it was.
No, that's under closing items.
Already did that already.
Oh my God.
We're on G3 right now, Tracy. We're on G3 to vote
I
on
know.
the board action items.
I know where we are. We just had one board member say we did that already. Another said we didn't get to that yet. So I'm trying to clarify.
Amendment school calendar, board action items.
Right,
Yes,
that's under
we're there.
board. We're under, right. So that's why I want to discuss it now. Thank you.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
we have not done that yet, correct?
Correct.
We're up to that now.
Thank you. So the proposal that we're voting on is that school is going to end on June 19th, correct?
18th.
18.
18th. So then that is a Thursday, if I'm looking accurately on my calendar. And I know that ECP has a slightly different calendar, correct?
Yeah.
It's a Thursday, yep, the 18th.
Mhm.
Okay, and ECP has a slightly different calendar, correct?
Yes, they always did.
They end a little bit earlier. So if we're ending school, the traditional calendar for all the schools on the 18th, does anybody know, and we don't have anyone from administration here now, so does anybody know exactly which day ECP is actually ending?
Well, I don't think there's any kids there. I don't know.
I don't have the answer to that, Tracy.
Ivy, I don't mean to put you on the spot now that you have to know, but do you know, or does maybe David or Terry, who's here forever?
I'm not aware. I'm not aware of when they would end.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll just
Figure it out.
okay.
Can I ask you a question, Tracy? Why are you so concerned about when ECP closes down when there's no kids there anyway?
Right. Well, I just think we should know the last days of school. That's all.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the actual days that schools, like the last.
I was just thinking that since there are no children in school at all, that the school would just, every building would close down at the same time. But I could be wrong, so it's good for you to
Okay.
ask.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's an issue of like, I don't know. Fine, you're right. They're not there.
Okay, so can you guys hear me?
A little bit.
I'm sorry.
We can't see you.
I'm at my refrigerator looking at the calendar. According to this calendar for June, it says for
what? You're breaking up on my phone.
I'm sorry. According to our current calendar, it says the last day for ECP says June 23rd on there, on the
Well,
calendar.
And,
I think that's
and
gonna
the
have to
last
happen.
day for everyone else?
Calendar, I must, they're all probably, they're
Last day
all,
of school for students was Friday the 26th.
yeah,
Right, so that end 3 days earlier. So the last day for ECP, if we're doing the last day of school is the 18th, would that push ECP to the 15th or no? Like, does that, do we have to do with anything with staff contracts or payment of our staff or anything like that? Like,
We don't know, so we have to go talk to somebody who does.
I was saying you're asking questions
So it's
that
a
we,
question. Right,
we
so it's a
do
question,
not
we write down
know.
the question, we talk to people tomorrow who can answer it.
all right, great. So, and then of course we'll make I guess an announcement. We'll instruct our administration to make like a district-wide announcement or whatever, so everyone's aware, including parents.
Yes.
Well,
It's true.
I don't even think we need to instruct. I'm pretty sure they already have plans to do that. So you just want to know about ECP, ending, like, well, you just want to know specifically for ECP, whether they end at the same time, or like, what's your question, Tracy?
Well, I think that's the only school that ends a little bit earlier, but if we make the decision to end school early, which is great,
Yeah.
to respect, you know, the change in the calendar, then we just need to be clear with what dates and ends what, you know. And I do think it's important for parents to know, because right now a lot of parents are having, you know, a hard time having to do the online learning, helping their kids do the online learning. I think they do need very clear communication from the district if there's a change in the expectation for when they'll be teaching their kids.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, so we are up to the board action item 3. Is there a motion to approve the board action items presented to the board for approval this evening?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Now we're on to closing items. All right, so for closing items, we have the annual organization meeting. Right now, that falls on the first Tuesday of the year, and that is July 7th, 2020. I know in the past we've have discussed it here and there, and I'd like to see where we're at. I'm fine with July 7th.
I'm fine with July 7th,
What day is that?
a Tuesday.
Say like our normal.
Oh, it's a regular, okay. That's too far away, but I think it's fine.
All right. Ashley, Terry, Tracy.
Yep, I'm good.
That's fine.
All right, Terry. Terry, look like you're looking up a
I'm good.
calendar.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, Ivy, you hear that? We are good to go.
You didn't ask Cora.
I did not ask Cora. Don't kill me. I'm so sorry, Miss Carrie. Are you okay with July 7th?
I've taken myself out of the equation.
Why? You're not showing up on the 7th?
I'm not here now.
You know what, Miss Carrie? You are here now. It's only that I don't get to see your face.
All right. As far as I know, if God is good, I'll be there.
All right, we'll see you there with bells on.
Mhm.
All right. All right, so moving forward, Ivy, we're good with the 7th. The next item is the calendar distribution. It's the smallest one, that's fine. So the calendar distribution, so again, they're preparing to do their printing bid, and pretty much they sort of break down what the cost is. There is a suggestion to do, I believe, digital, maybe distribute it into the building. Eventually, let me take that back. So as you can see what's happening, how many copies, they mail one calendar to every household, and the remaining stays in the building, some community organization, and whoever requests it. She talks about the cost of printing this and the postage is another. And so again, this is an opportunity. Could we move to save money and to go, it sounds like all electronic moving forward.
I'm all for that. Do we get to vote on whether it's electronic or physical, or?
Well, this is being said, this suggestion here is to consider moving to electronic.
Let's do it.
David, I'm sorry.
My question is for Miss Carey.
What?
Miss Carey, do you care if we go to all electronic calendars? Do you use the hard copy calendar, or are you okay if we just have it on the website?
I haven't had a calendar in about 3 years, so it doesn't matter to me one way or the other.
Okay. Can we make sure that are we talking about just making the electronic calendar on the website more up to date? Or are we still going to have one and they're just going to have an image that people can print if they want or look at on their computers if they want?
To me, it only sounds like we are just going to offer a digital calendar. And I believe we'll still have, whatever we have existing on the website. I didn't hear about anything else on the website where that's available and somebody can print it. Ivy, you might have heard the conversation, I'm not sure.
I didn't hear specifics, but there would still be the information that's in the front of the calendar and the back of the calendar with contacts that would still need to be provided in some format, not necessarily printed, but it's going to have to be provided. So in some format.
Okay.
So could we possibly have like a PDF, a printable PDF calendar?
That's what we have now on our website. As soon as it's ready, once it's designed and it's ready to go to the printer, we normally post it on the website immediately and then get it to the printer because the printer takes a couple of weeks to do that.
All right. Terry had his hand up and then Tracy. I don't know if you're still in the room, Terry. If not, I'm moving forward with Tracy.
I am still in the room that was left over from before. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Tracy.
I'm 100% against the only digital calendar. I think we need to have a printed copy of the calendar. As a parent with 3 different children, it is actually visually helpful for me to see the calendar. It is visually helpful for me to have it in front of me. I, as most of you know, since I always say I don't have a printer, I do not have a working printer all the time. I'll wait till he's done breathing and moving. Okay. I do not have a working printer all the time. And so to print out the calendar and then sometimes there's changes, that's just too much. And we have families that do not have good internet access. It's not helpful and it's not feasible. And I think it's a mistake. So I will vote against.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. There are so many people who still do not have that technology expertise. And maybe there should be a few hundred or so printed up just for those who may ask for it. I don't want one myself.
Okay. Ashley?
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest that same thing. I think maybe if we print out, it looks like we print out 11,200 copies. Why don't we print out, I don't know, 1,000? And instead of mailing them out, why don't we have them in the buildings where people can just pick them up, and then whoever needs them can pick them up, and everyone else can use the digital copy. But it's a good way to still save money. All right, we need any dollar we can get right now with our financial situation while still preserving balance, in my view.
All right, Terry.
I was gonna have a proposal, but I like what Ashley said. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Good. Agreed.
Tracy?
No, that's fine.
All right, so I also was gonna say no outright, but I think the idea of printing out a certain amount and having them available in the buildings for those who would want it. My only question is, so let's say I am retired and I don't have children in the district, anymore. I just want to make sure I know with like security and everything like that, people still will be able to get in and be able to have access to a calendar.
Mhm.
All right, great. All right, so Ivy, that's our compromise.
Okay.
Digital and print 1,000 available and spread those out through all the buildings. 1,000.
How many do you want printed?
Ashley said 1,000.
Yes, okay.
The only thing I would add to that too, Ivy, is that we just need to, I want us to notify people ahead of time too. So there just needs to be communication that we are no longer mailing, hard copies, and this is how you can get it. So that needs to be communicated more than one time because people can really be used to just naturally getting it and they may not see the first communication. So if we can just make sure that that's communicated multiple times in multiple areas so people are aware. Tracy.
I had decided not to say this, and then I changed my mind again and decided to say this. So if we have 1,700 kids in the district, so I don't know, maybe that's 1,200 families or something. If you take the multiple children household, I don't know. I'm wondering, what if we just ask parents to fill out like a survey? Do they want like an opt-in or opt-out? If we're going to rely on technology and say that we can provide a very appropriate calendar that's updated and that's printable and all these things, if we're going to rely on that technology, why can't we have an opt-in or out option for parents so they can opt about receiving a calendar? That way, maybe we can know ahead of time how many calendars we're going to have. If we order 1,000, Ivy, can we print up 500 more if we need more? Or does that become an issue later?
If you print in small quantities, it ends up costing more because they have to reset the machines and however they work it. So the more you produce, the cheaper it is per copy.
If the calendar were more basic, like not as many pictures, not as many colors, would that cost less?
No, it's based on the number of pages and the type of paper that's used and the hole punching, the saddle stitching of the staples, ink jetting of addresses, and so forth.
Okay. I don't know. I'm wondering. I think it's a great idea to try. I'm just wondering what happens if we need more calendars. Do we tell people you just have to go online? I don't know. I mean, are there other districts that have a totally online calendar? Because I'm thinking of districts where I have friends in the schools and I think they have printed calendars. I mean, are there other districts that you guys know of that have totally online calendars?
Yes.
Which district? Which district?
Well, Scarsdale doesn't have a printed calendar.
They don't have any printed calendar available. Okay.
And I mean, I can speak about where I work in DOE. There's no printed calendar. There used to be one a very long time ago. Doesn't do it anymore at all.
Y'all forget that you don't have no, you don't live in a high scale district like Scarsdale. They gave each and every one of their kids a laptop for free. Now, listen, you got people here in Fairview and other areas that cannot afford a computer, and some don't even know how to use a computer. So, I mean, what is wrong with having some copies available in first come, first serve?
There's nothing wrong with it, Cora. I think that's what we agreed on, is that the calendars would be printed and just made available to the parents at the school. So
to
that
anyone at all
to anyone
the school all the buildings, there will be It will be the 1,000 copies will be divided throughout the buildings. Someone who wants a hard copy can be able to go there and get it. I will say this, Tracy, about the printing. You know, like if somebody wanted it, I guess they can request, you know, one. But I think it's sort of a good compromise, and I think we might see. I think we could possibly savings. I guess, Ivy, will we be able to? Do you know what you know how some people, some organizations or some companies might say, oh, from 0 to 500 it costs this, from that to that. Are you able to take a look at that just so we can have an idea of
We
and
we
just
don't.
information?
When we go out to bid, we have the specific amount with the specifications in terms of number of pages, and how it's to be produced, the hole punch, so that you can put it on a wall. I could certainly ask the printer for a quote on what it would cost to print 1,000 without. He doesn't have to worry about going through a clearinghouse to inkjet addresses on it like we do now, and to see what the cost would be there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, also, sorry. Also, it looks like we spend, if I'm looking, oh shoot, I came off the thing. If I'm looking at the numbers right, it looks like we spend $1,596 just on postage alone, right? So if we were to, even if we were to print out the same amount or even half that, if we printed out 4,000 instead of 8,000, right?
2,000
I came off
instead of 1,000, right?
Huh? I don't know what he said. If we normally print out 8,000, correct? And I came off the screen, so I'm not sure if I have the
We're
numbers correct.
preparing a print bid.
11,200.
We ordered 11,000.
11,000. Okay, so if we printed out half, like 5,000 or 6,000, whatever, 5,000 is less than half. If we printed out 5,000 calendars and had them available, that would still be how much money? $4,000, as opposed to, or less than $4,000, and we would save on the printing. I just don't know how we're going to go from 8,000.
From 11,000.
Wait, what? It said we order 11,000, but we normally mail out 8,000. That's what it said, right?
Yes.
So how are we going from 8,000 down to 1,000?
Because everything is going to be digital.
That just seems like such a.
But not only that, like, so if we do, so technically we are probably pretty much pretty much we're going from like having in the buildings available, that's about what, 3,000 copies within the building itself. We're essentially, you know, cutting that down. I mean, I don't want to spend this amount of time at 12:14 on a calendar. I just need to be smart about.
It's not just families, it's staff may also utilize the calendar.
So can we print out 2,000 copies instead and just leave it at that? I mean, I don't want to spend here all night. It's 12:15.
I don't want to either. Okay, I'll concede. 2,000. I like 2,000.
Anybody else against 2,000 copies? All right. 2,000 copies and digital. All right. Is there any new business? All right. Hearing none. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Ivy?
Ivy.
I apologize at the late hour. Did you want to announce, discuss the public hearing at the next meeting for the repair reserve fund?
Did I
For the
want to
16th?
discuss it?
Just to announce it.
It's so late, Ivy.
Ivy, you have the reference. When you were saying to announce the public
Just-
hearing
Go
You
ahead.
gotta refresh my memory, Ivy, there's a thousand things on here. So public hearing,
That was the information that Ms. O'Neill had sent to you regarding holding a public hearing
Oh, yeah.
to use repair reserve, a portion of repair reserve funds for the administration building roof
Yeah.
reconstruction project.
Yes.
Yes.
In order to expend that money, you need to have a public hearing first.
Yes.
And so I'll put in the legal notice to have it on June 16th. So I thought
Thank-
you just want to announce it so people know what that is.
So coming
you.
at the board meeting on June 16th at 7 p.m. So is that going to, does that mean there's going to be public participation, meaning we'll invite people
We
as
have
we
to.
did for the fiscal planning committee meeting? So they'll come online?
Or for our budget meeting, we had. Remember when we had our budget
Yes.
hearing?
Correct? That's how the public hearing has to be run?
Yeah.
Yes, it's recommended by the attorneys that for a public hearing, there be public participation.
And so
Yeah.
we'll post it, right, as Tracy described, we'll post it so that anybody can log on. At
Yeah.
7 p.m. on June 16th. Okay.
Oh, David.
okay. All right, public hearing, June 16th.
Regarding
7.
roofing repair. Oh, roof repair.
Okay,
And-
all right. Is there any
Manage.
other new business or closing items? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, no, I don't oppose. Okay, any abstentions? All right, the motion carries. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
night.
Ivy, thank you.
Good night.
Steve, thank you, everybody.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Ivy, I am gonna call you though in the next few minutes.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.